Welcome to another episode of TalkYOSpitTV. I'm your host, Mario Harris, and I have a great one for y'all today. It's the MLB 2025 playoff, and they are here. They are starting today. It's Tuesday, September 30th, and they are starting today. Actually, about to start in the next 30 minutes or so, with Detroit and Cleveland starting first. Man, I am happy. I am excited that the playoffs are here. The baseball playoffs is one of the best forms of sports ever, man. Like it is so much exciting that goes on in MLB playoff. It seems like teams just it every team goes to another level in the play. I understand in playoff football, basketball, hockey, whatever playoff teams always go to another level, but it just really seems like teams go into in the baseball they go into a whole nother level. Like teams that make the wild card that probably shouldn't have made the wild card, they catch fire in MLB playoffs and make it at least to the championship series at least. So with that being said, man, let's go ahead and start it off, man. The 2025 MLB playoff, man. The wild card series, like I said, they start today. It's the best of three games with the higher seed having home field advantage, playing all three games at home. So this would be a very slight rundown. I guess I would go in a lot of detail. I wouldn't say a lot slight rundown, but hey, we got four games on wild card slate. So hey, let's get into it. Detroit at Cleveland, man. They will be the first wild card game to start off. This is the second time these two teams have played in the playoffs after they faced each other last year in the AL Divisional Series, with the Guardians winning that series. These two teams last faced each other in the regular season, September 23rd through the 25th, with the Guardians winning that series 2-1, and they were playing in Cleveland like they are playing this wild card series in Cleveland. Also, the Guardians has won the season series against the Tigers 8-5. The Guardians come into this series as one of the hottest teams in baseball over the last month. They won 24 of their last 32 games and lead the MLB in ERA over that stretch with 2.72. Right-hand pitcher Gavin Williams will get the start in game one. Williams versus Detroit this season. He in three games he's allowed 8 hits and one home run with 29 strikeouts. Then right-hand pitcher Tanner Bibby he starts in game two. Against Detroit this season, he allowed 12 hits with no home runs and 21 strikeouts. Then lastly, right-hand pitcher Slade Cecconi, I love that man name, will start in game three for the Guardians. Against Detroit this season, he allowed 11 hits, 3 home runs with 11 strikeouts. However, the biggest concern for the Guardians will be their overall hitting. They rank 29th in batting average with 226 and 20th in home runs. With all that being said, I think the Tigers will take the win in three games. They have a better hitting core with Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson, Zach McKinstry, Gleyber Torres, and then Dingler. With a few more players on that batting roster that at least hit 250 on the season. But they also have arguably the best pitcher in baseball, and Tarek Skubal, who has finished second in ERA with 2.21. I believe Tara Skubal will allow the Tigers to take game one easily. If Cleveland wants to win this series, they must be able to hit the ball efficiently and effectively. This goes on to the second game of the wild card series. We have San Diego Padres versus the Chicago Cubs. They're playing at Chicago at Wrigley Field. The Padres, then they caught fire in the second half this season, coming up within 3 games of being first in the NL West. They have a high power offense team that can get hot at bat at any time. Fernando Tatis Jr., Manny Machado, and Jackson Merrill will give the Padres ample opportunities to get on base. They are seventh in batting average with 252 and 13 in hits with 1,369. However, if there's one thing you need from a team to go far in October, it's hitting home runs. They are not known to overall hit home runs as a team with 152 on the season, making them 24th in MLB. Machado definitely can hit home runs, and he will be looked at to do that for them. As good as the hitting would be for the Padres, the Cubs pitching and defense is just as good, though. The Cubs finished this season with an ERA of 3.79, making them ninth in the league. And according to StatMuse, the Cubs rank second in defense, but they have also dealt with a lot of injuries this season, and then dealt with some season slumps. If the Cubs want to win this series, they have to get back to playing defense they once had at the beginning of the season. Their outfield core is one of the best, however, with Ian Happ, Pete Crow Armstrong, and Kyle Tucker, but they all have slumped over the season and or dealt with some injury. And not to mention the late seasonal injury of their star rookie pitcher, Kay Horton. Left-hand pitcher Matthew Boyd will look to take on the charge for the Cubs. However, I believe Padres will end up upsetting the Cubs in 3 games. Their pitching has been up and down all season, yes, but the Padres have a deep bullpen that can shake things up for the Cubs. Which brings me to my next game, and the probably the number one watch game will be in the wild card series will be the Red Sox versus the Yankees. This will be the 6th time these two teams have faced each other in the postseason, with them being as the probably the biggest rival in sports history. The Red Sox lead the series 3-2, and the most notably series coming in 2004 in the AL Championship Series. Now, we don't really have to get into that. I mean, even though the Red Sox won in 7 games after being down 0-3, but like I said, we don't have to get into that. Anyways, it's no secret that the Yankees have a better hitting team with Aaron Judge leading the way. He's batting .331 with 53 home runs this season. Then Paul Goldschmidt, Cody Bellinger, Jazz Chisholm, and Trent Grisham all can catch fire at the plate and get on base. The Yankees suffered a mid-season slump, but however, they went 34-19 in the last 2 months of the season, hitting 100 home runs in that time. The biggest concern for the Yankees will be their pitching and defense. However, their best pitcher against the Red Sox was Max Fried. He went 3-1 with the ERA of 2.37 and 40 strikeouts against Boston this season, and he will get to start with Game 1 versus Red Sox. However, in Game 2, Carlos Rodon will get to start, and he was just the opposite against Boston. Rodon had 5 wins with 6 losses with the ERA of 4.28 against Boston this season. Boston, on the other hand, ended the season very up and down. They finished with a record of 30-22 in the last 2 months of the season while facing many injuries. Young star Roman Anthony missed significant time with oblique strain. Christian Campbell had rib injuries, and Marcelo Mayer had wrist injuries. All these players were heavily missed in the lineup. And unfortunately, all 3 will not be in New York for this wild card series. The Red Sox, they finished this season with a batting average of 254, making them 5th in the league. They will be relying heavily on Jarren Duran, Trevor Story, Ceddanne Rafaela, Alex Bregman, Wilyer Abreu, and Carlos Narvaez to be very consistent at that plate. But it's the bullpen for the Red Sox that will be looked to win this series. Boston has a team ERA of 3.7, which makes them 5th best in the league. In my opinion, the best pitcher in the game, Garrett Crochet, gets the start in Game 1 and comes in this series with an ERA of 2.59. He is 6th best in the league and leads the league in strikeouts with 255. Crochet is 3-0 against the Yankees this season with the ERA of 2.9 and 45 strikeouts. Brian Bello, he gets the start in Game 2. He went 5 for 4 with a ERA of 2.35 and 53 strikeouts against the Yankees this season. But the Red Sox, they will rely also heavily on Aroldis Chapman to close out these games if it makes it to the bottom of the ninth. Chapman has 32 saves with an ERA of 1.17 in 61 innings this season. This would make his best season of his career as a closing pitcher. This series would be very entertaining, exciting, and dramatic. And most baseball analysts have the Yankees winning this series in 3 games. However, I have to be biased and I have to go for my Red Sox, saying they will actually win in 3 games. Mainly due to the fact that Aaron Judge and Jazz Chisholm they haven't shown they have been playoff performance in their recent playoff series. Judge in his 7 games in the playoffs, he batted .205, and Jazz, he batted .167 in his 3 postseason appearances. If Boston wants to win this series, it will be due to great pitching and fielding, but they must out hit the Yankees. Now, my last series The last series of the wild card is the Cincinnati Reds at Los Angeles Dodgers. And honestly, I feel like Dodgers will end this in 2-game series, a series sweep. The reigning World Series champion Dodgers should take care of business to move on to the National League Division Series against the Phillies. Blake Snell and Yoshiba Yotama will get the start for game 1 and 2. If they somehow make it to game 3, then Shohei Ohtani will get the start in game 3. But the Dodgers have also said if they don't play game 2 and move on to the next round, then Ohtani will start game 1 versus the Phillies. The Dodgers bullpen will face a Reds team that does not score a lot of points and struggles at hitting. The Reds are batting 245, 19th in the league with 1,333 hits. That's also 19th. And they have 716 runs, making them 14th in the league. Obviously, their great young star and two-way player, L.A. De La Cruz, will have to be the one to take charge for the Reds, but it's also his first playoff appearance. And what better time to show of what you're made of in the playoff and in your first appearance against the reigning champion Dodgers. And the same go for the next best hitter, TJ Friddle. He he also is his first postseason appearance. The Reds went 1-5 against Dodgers this season, where the Dodgers outscored the Reds 30-15, with one of those games being a 7-0 shutout. However, the Reds do have a solid bullpen with the ERA of 3.86, and their ace right-hand pitcher, Hunter Green, who is known to throw very hard in the high 90s fastball, will get the start in game 1. But facing the Dodgers hitters will be very tough. They have arguably the best hitter in Shohei Ohtani, my favorite player, Mookie Betts, postseason top performer, and Freddie Freeman, and young star hitter Andy Pages, and a few more players who can contribute at the plate. The Reds bullpen will have a tough time keeping the Dodgers from hitting and scoring. However, the Dodgers have dealt with some injury throughout the season, but of late they have their full roster back and is ready to make a deep playoff run. So that is my rundown of the wild card series of this 2025 MLB playoff. Man, like I said, it's going to be very, very exciting. I'm trying to tune in to as many games that I can, but I'm definitely gonna be tuning into that Boston and New York series because that my boy the Red Sox, we have to take that series so I can talk mess to all these Red Sox fans. Excuse me, the Yankees fans, them weak boys in pinstripes. But anyway, man, I hope y'all enjoyed that, man. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Please comment, like, and share the video. I love baseball. I love talking about baseball all day. It was my first love sport that I grew up playing all the way up to about 16 years old. So I love talking baseball with anybody that love talking baseball too. But until next time, this is Talk Your Spit TV. I'm your host, Mario Harris. Thank you.